What's going on, my friends? Cubs fan Han here, and you guys have asked for this video for a long time. Where are the ships videos, Cubs fan Han? And you've got your top 15 poll. Why can't we have something similar for ships? Well, I am here to give the people what they want. My top 15 pollers voted on their top 10 favorite ships in the game, the best ships in the game all around, and we also included the capital ships in that. And to assist me, because I am not the best with ships, it's not my forte necessarily, I have brought in our resident expert, the one, the only, Finity from Reality Skew Gamers. What's going on, Finity?
Hey everybody, glad to be on, Cubs.
Dude, I've always wanted you to be on my channel. This has been a long time coming.
Well, we've made it a reality now.
Let's break down this list. Starting with the top 4, the only 4 capital ships. We're just going to rank them all, 1 through 4. We've got Endurance coming in at number 4, Home One at number 3, Executrix at number 2, and of course Chimera at number 1. So when you see this, I mean, I don't know about you. I don't feel like there's a whole lot of debate on what number 1 is. I think it's more compelling after that what should be number 2. Would you agree with that sentiment?
Yeah. I think Chimera at this point is kind of head and tails above the other ships. It's just one of the best ships in the game, bar none. Not even just capital ships, right? It's pretty much like the best ship in the game. So yeah. I think that number 1 is very much in line with what I would think. The number 2 ends up just kind of how you define the best ships. If you're looking at the second best ship in the game, so if the question is if you didn't have the number 1 ship, what would be your next best option? Then Executrix, I think, fits that bill. I think Executrix is probably the second best capital ship. But if you're looking at what would be your second most useful ship, I think Home One actually fits a little bit better, and primarily because if you're using Chimera in an area like Territory Wars, where if you go to the ships, all of your capital ships matter, Executrix really needs a lot of target locks, and it likes to have Empire because it gets the bonus damage. And so when you have Chimera that's eating up a lot of your Empire target locks in order to make it a strong fleet, a ship like Home One comes out and actually has a better performance because you're not using as many ships for the Chimera team as you are for Home One. So there's not as much overlap because you can go with your Rebel ships and the target locks with like a Biston and stuff. So for me, it just kind of depends on how you're defining it. I would say my second most useful capital ship is Home One, but Executrix is still the second best. So just kind of depends on how you define it, right?
All ships, the
regular ships. Let's not call them small. Let's not diminish what they are.
These are small ships next to the big ones. All right, numbers 10 through 6. Number 10, the Millennium Falcon. Number 9, the Umbaran Starfighter. Number 8, Biston's Ewing. Number 7, the TIE Slicer. Shall we call it the Slicer?
I know the history, and yes, we can go with the Slicer.
All right, if anyone's confused, just go watch my reveal video when I called the Silencer the Slicer. We have decided it is the Slicer going forward. And then number 6 is the Scimitar, Darth Maul's ship. So some takeaways from this list. We actually had a debate about this. I was initially kind of feeling like Millennium Falcon might be a bit underrated. I had a patron recently send me a video, I'm showing it right now, of the Falcon just able to do some insane amounts of AoE damage. But this was utilizing, of course, Kylo Ren's command shuttle, which kind of is more of a niche combo, and something you were pointing out to me, Finn, is you actually think is probably overrated at number 10.
Yeah, with the way that the list is set up, I think it's a little overrated, and it's not against the Millennium Falcon ship. The ship itself is good. The thing is, it needs to be paired a lot to really get that combo going. Millennium Falcon works best kind of off the bench with a Kylo Ren command shuttle there, so that when Millennium Falcon comes off the bench, it uses its thrust reversal, gets those little 3 arrows above its head, and then command shuttle gives it 100% turn meter, and then Millennium Falcon does like a crazy AoE. It's very powerful. So I don't think that it's a bad one in the top 10. Just it's a very kind of unique use for it. It requires 2 different ships in order to really make it go. So for me, I think it's a little too high at 10.
Interesting.
I think Umbaran.
See me, I'm a simple-minded man. I see all that damage and I go, ooh, it's the best ship in the game.
I love shiny numbers. Trust me,
I want that.
I want that.
Yeah, the shiny yellow numbers.
Yes, yellow numbers.
It's like this dopamine rush when I see a yellow number that's above like 30,000.
Oh, and when you see like 80 of them, like in that.
Yeah. Oh man. So interesting. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about Biston's Ewing. You had some interesting things to say about this. He's a great target locker, but not as useful now that the Chimera's here.
Yeah, because he fits best with Home 1 because he is a rebel ship. And Home 1
so maybe more of a territory wars kind of ship.
Yes, definitely more of a territory warship. Used to be in the arena a lot more before Chimera when there was a little bit of diversity between all 3 capital ships. But now that it's kind of changed, his target lock, while it may still work with Chimera, it's not one of the more preferred ships. So I'm fine with kind of where he is right now at 8. Maybe down to 9 potentially if we move so for me, if we move Umbaran down to 10 and we move Biston down to 9, I would be fine with that.
That makes sense.
He's close to where he should be.
We got to talk about number 7, the TIE Slicer. I really like this ship. Having that stun on the basic is really nice to have. However, the AI doesn't necessarily play it that great.
Yeah, it doesn't always use his basic. I mean, the AI typically tries to use the special first, thinking that the special...
Which makes sense.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what the AI is going to do.
Exactly. So it's a very good player-controlled ship, which makes it a very good ship on offense. On defense, it works better, I should say it works better in the starting lineup than it does off the bench. And I typically prefer it off the bench because of the stun that you can just bring off the bench whenever you're in that position.
Number 5, we have got the TIE Advanced. One of the more, I remember when that ship first hit, that was one of the most coveted ships. Number 4, First Order TIE Fighter. We've got number 3 and number 2 are actually just number 2 tied. We have Biggs and Imperial TIE Fighter tied with 496 points apiece. And then number 1 is the TIE Reaper, which edged out number 2 by 2 points. That was a tight race at top. Well, now, some thoughts you have. I think, and I think you agree, I think Biggs got gypped. I think Biggs' ship is number 1 in the game.
He's one of those ships that you've had since the beginning, right? So you may start taking him for granted a little bit. But there's no other taunting ship that people are using in their lineup.
Yeah, he's the only one people are using.
Exactly. Like, maybe if you're starting off, you may use a
Sunfac.
Right. Or you may use like a Plo Koon or something.
But who's using Plo Koon? Who's got a Gear 12 Plo Koon? Come on. Plo Koon should be good. I demand a Jedi rework. Plo Koon, Kit Fisto, make it happen. Sorry.
Can I go with
I just got triggered.
Samuel L. Jackson needs to be better first.
Mace too. Yeah. My God.
And he's already had a rework too, and it still doesn't fit anywhere.
It blows my mind that he had a rework.
Oh, yeah.
That just blows my mind. So, okay, so I think we can agree Biggs probably has the number 1 ship in the game. I do like the TIE Reaper being this high, though. That's a really tricky ship to handle, and on defense, it kind of becomes a race of who can eliminate the TIE Reaper first. And if you're not able to get there soon enough, you could be in a world of hurt quick.
Yeah, and so I think TIE Reaper is really good. It would be in my top 3. There's one reason why I think I would put it as number 3, though, behind the Imperial TIE. And that's because it requires 2 pilots. It's a difficult ship to get maxed out. Yeah, it's more to farm. But the other issue is that if you don't have if you don't have Death Trooper and Shore Trooper kind of geared up pretty well, Reaper can stay kind of squishy. And there's still, whether it's in fleet or whether it's in squad, you still have this race. It's still like a speed race.
And Shore, a lot of people still don't have Shore all the way farmed. I know myself, I actually recently unlocked him because his node was never that much of a priority for me because I was focusing on Nihilus and some other one node hard farm characters. And so I think that also makes it a bit tricky because it's so hard to get him to 7 stars.
Exactly. And it's a difficulty that's the reason why I would put it as number 3. It's not necessarily just the quality of his ship, but how much it takes to make his ship that quality. And it's 2 characters on a single hard node. It's a difficult farm. It's well worth it. Trust me. It is one of the best ships.
He's one of those characters. I look at Shorn. We're talking about ships here, and I'm getting into characters. But he's one of those characters. When I look at my roster, I'm like, man, why did I procrastinate this? And now I've got Talzin to farm in a hard node, and so he just keeps getting pushed back. But I really wish I had a 7-star short gear 12. He's so useful.
He definitely is, especially right now with all the Imperial troopers being needed everywhere. So you kind of
exactly. There's never enough Carbantes in this game. Where did all the Carbantes go? You know what I'm gonna do? My next music video is gonna be a lament to all the Carbantes I don't have.
That's gonna be a very long video.
A 20-minute video of me just crying on screen about how I don't have any Carbantes.
Because you have to include the stun guns and the detonators in there too.
Oh,
man. Can't forget those because they require those Carbantes too.
But hey, Capital Games gave us a full Carbante.
Yes, they did. Oh my god, the rewards during that vlog period were fantastic.
All right, so there's our list. Let's throw them up on the screen here. We've got numbers 1 through 10 on the regular ships, the little ships, and then the big ships, the capital ships, numbers 1 through 4, the whole fleet organized there. Any final takeaways from this list, seeing it as a whole?
The only one, and I was kind of mentioning it a little bit with the bottom 10, the ship that's missing to me is Poe. I think Poe's ship is one of the better ships, especially off the bench because of his unevadable special attack that is really useful against Imperial TIE fighters to take those out before it just keeps on dodging and giving your opponent's capital ship extra turn meter. I think Poe should have been in the top 10.
Well, thank you so much again for joining me. If you guys have not checked out the Reality Skewed Gamers stream on YouTube, there is a link down below in the description. And I am a firm believer that this is a criminally unsubbed to YouTube channel. So please don't be that guy that is not subbed to Reality Skewed Gamers. Really good stuff. You guys are streaming every Wednesday, early morning Saturday, late in the evening Saturday, and like every lunch break and whenever you've got time, it sounds like, right?
Yeah, it's many Galaxy of Heroes streams now.
You guys have been going forever too. I mean, it well before I even dreamed about doing YouTube, I remember listening to Reality Skewed Gamers. So we really appreciate everything you guys do.
Thanks. And I love your videos too, Cubs.
Oh, shucks. I was hoping you'd say that. All right. Thanks again for joining me, guys. And as always, don't forget.
My dead body. Sorry about the mess.